Welcome back. You're watching Up Front. I'm Fundo Mabalane. To this now, the fight against climate change continues. Now, thousands of people took to the streets in Glasgow, Scotland, demanding action on the climate crisis. The protesters say they're not happy with the promises made at the COP26 United Nations Climate Change Conference. eNCA senior reporter Siphamandla Goge is there for us and joins us live now. Siphamandla, good afternoon again. We spoke a bit earlier, and I just noted that one citizen of Sudan used the opportunity when you wanted to engage on issues around climate change. She went on to speak on the socio-political issues playing out in Sudan right now, talking of the instability. Is there prevalence right now of many people there, activists, that are looking for attention on this global platform for other issues and ills in their countries?
It does happen now and again. It's common cause that when you have a magnitude of a protest of this magnitude, some people will hijack the platform and highlight domestic issues in their respective countries. And remember, various governments across the globe have been very harsh on what they call climate change activists, saying these are part of regime change agendas. So you've got this mistrust between climate justice activists and respective regimes across the world who see some of the protesters as people who are funded to topple respective governments in their respective countries. So it's not surprising that you will have some of the protesters highlighting domestic issues back home, but using this global platform to get attention, the attention of the world leaders. There are too many world leaders that come here. So some of the activists hope that by highlighting domestic issues, they will get the platform to interact with their respective or their counterparts from other countries. So as you can see behind me, my colleague Jokomane will show you thousands of protesters are gathering now at this park. They are having speeches from various speakers across the globe. They are saying they are standing together to ensure that there is climate justice. Basically, this protest is about protesters saying, hang on, world leaders, ministers of environmental affairs, policymakers, observers are gathering here in Glasgow to talk about the climate change conference. It's the conference of the parties, the 6th or the 26th installment, COP26. But they are saying there's been very little movement and they are fast running out of time because we are only left with 1 week. As of Monday, talks will resume, negotiations will resume, and by the end of the week, the indication is that there should be a concrete document that will be signed, whereas various countries will sign and commit into honoring their commitments when it comes to fighting climate change. And the make or break of this conference in Glasgow is about climate finance. Now, if you were to go back a bit, in 2019 to 2012, or 2009 to 2012, the world leading countries, the rich countries, wealthy nations, committed into raising collectively about $100 billion annually, which will be the money that will be given to the developing countries in order for them to implement their just transition from high carbon to basically renewable energy to clean energy. But that commitment has not been fulfilled. Those powerful countries have not honored that commitment. So these protesters are arguing that we cannot have another installment of just a talk shop whereby there will be no concrete actions. And now they are reading the petition. They are saying it's going to the world leaders. Last week you had world leaders such as the President of the United States of America, Joe Biden, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson was here, and other leaders. So we'll just take a walk down here. It's too noisy, but we'll just show you what is happening. So these protests have been going on, and protesters are vowing to continue with these protests because they are saying up until there is a clear commitment from world leaders, things will not change. Climate change impact will continue to be visible and severe, and the entire globe is suffering because political leaders just talk and talk. So basically that's what is happening here in Glasgow.
Siphamandla, have you seen a large number of activists from the African continent? Because as a developing continent, we in particular are in great need of that financing. Is there a large number of activists from Africa there?
Absolutely. There is a large number of activists from Africa that have come out here. Yesterday I was able to spot activists from Tanzania, from Kenya, from Ethiopia, even South Africa. We were unable to interview some of those people from South Africa because they were in front of the line, in front of the queue marching. But even from South Africa, you've got activists who are here. We've got NGOs who are here, who are supporting clean energy, who are saying it's time for world leaders to basically honor their commitments. They are saying these conferences are being used as just business platforms where world leaders will come and have business meetings and not address the issue of climate change and the issue of dealing with fossil fuels. So they are saying the time has come for that to change. Let's see if we can be able to get a word with this old gentleman. Hello, sir, how are you? Where are you from and why are you protesting?
I'm from here. Yeah.
Oh, you're from here.
Yeah.
Why are you part of this protest?
Because I believe in it. I think they should see what they're doing today. See how this goes on for 2 years. Should be doing this every month for a whole 2 years.
So do you think COP26 will have positive results?
No.
Why?
Because unless China and Russia and India, they say they're going to be using coal for another 50 years. So,
what is your name and surname, sir?
My name is John.
Thank you very much, John. Well, basically, that's the sentiment here in Glasgow. I'm trying to see if we'll be able to take a walk this side. There are too many people who are congesting here, no social distancing. But let me tell you about the issue of masks. You know, here in Scotland, we are told that masks are not usually encouraged to be worn outside, but indoors. So you will see many people not wearing masks. We will interview some people who are not wearing masks because we are told that in this part of the world, well, it's only indoors where you are obliged to wear a mask. So you have various activists here addressing those who are gathered here. Yesterday, there was a Swedish activist by the name of Greta. She's known for her activism when it comes to climate change and the issues of the environment. So that is what is happening currently. On Monday, we expect that negotiations and talks will resume. What will happen out of that, it remains to be seen.
Siphamandla, just in closing, we all know that when we're talking concessional finance, we're talking of several instruments. It can be grants, it can be loans. Speaking to some of those activists from Africa, are they not perhaps concerned about the loan aspect and perhaps some of the terms that could come from those loans, where even with the grants, but particularly I know that many are more keen on grants as opposed to loans because you remain indebted. Have they spoken on the concessional finance and the instruments to be used?
They say they would welcome that. They'd rather deal with the issue of, accepting whether it's a loan or a grant. But at the moment, they are saying world leaders and wealthy nations have not honored their commitments in ensuring that they at least pledge when it comes to climate finance. I'm going to step out of this short joke and I will show you behind. So most of the activists that we've been interviewing from Africa have cited an example of South Africa, which has received a boost in terms of a commitment from leading nations in the world who have committed to finance the country's just transition, moving away from coal to clean renewable energy. But as we speak, even that finance or that commitment of 130 billion rand by wealthy nations here at COP26 in Glasgow, as of this moment, there is no clear indication, framework and breakdown as to how it's going to be administered in South Africa. It's a commitment, but those negotiators who are meeting, they are unpacking the details, terms and conditions of how that is going to work. Of course, the bulk of it will go to Eskom because Eskom as a power utility in South Africa is at the center of the country's energy and power. Never mind that, of course, they've been collapsing the country's economy with load shedding lately. So even though you have this commitment by leading nations of supporting developing nations, including South Africa, you had that commitment last week, which is the first. But in terms of a clear breakdown of how will that work, those details are still sketchy. They are being worked out. It will take months, even years, to see that being realized. But also in Africa, you've got some people who are questioning the involvement of leading nations in funding this. They see this as part of an ulterior motive to get involved and basically dictate terms when it comes to political life of various nations. So that mistrust is still there. But climate activists are saying better to have those deals on the table and deal with terms and conditions afterwards.
No, interesting take. Let's hope there will be no sinister terms. Thank you very much. That's Siphamandla Goge, in Scotland, for us just monitoring the COP26 conference that's taking place, as well as those protests outside.